We're staging for another half hour of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here's your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for being here for our half hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Fast Jack Beckman earns his second win of the year and first in the countdown to put him back in championship contention. We'll talk to the former champion today. Another edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast, around the world, this is The Straight Line on Drag Racing on MRN.com. Along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion, 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert, I am Marty Huff. Coming off countdown event number 2 at Gateway Motorsports Park, and some guys got really good and needed to in a lot of different categories. Your takeaway on Gateway?
Well, I think we're starting to narrow down the championship here. I mean, there's, in Top Fuel, there's probably 6 potential champions. And in Funny Car, there's 6 potential champions. In Pro Stock, there's 3 potential champions. So it's really, it's narrowing the pack down. And I think this weekend is going to be more of the same.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's take a look at the Top Fuel points as we go into Maple Grove this weekend. Huge weekends for Sean Langdon and Tony Schumacher after being kicked around at ZMAX Dragway and going out in the first round. Going to the final round is a huge deal for them. Sean Langdon finally taking the win, and that was a big one for him because he started in the countdown a little bit lower than Tony Schumacher. Now Langdon 77 points. Schumacher at 54 points.
Langdon taking that win over Schumacher on a slight hole shot, which doesn't happen that often with Tony Schumacher. I mean, he gets up to the occasion for final rounds especially, and I was a little bit surprised to see that. It wasn't bad, but it was still, and Langdon's no slouch. I mean, he's a bracket racer. Like, he knows how to hit the tree. But I was a little bit surprised to see that.
Yeah, and as a racer, it doesn't matter whether it was a couple of thou hole shot or a couple of tenths. It doesn't matter. You're still hacked off when you get out of the car. You look at the time slip and go, "Oh, dang, it was a whole."
Well, exactly
shot.
right. And I know Tony pretty well, and I guarantee he was fired up.
Yeah.
And the way that he works, I'm guessing nobody's going to beat him on the hole shot for these last few races. He's going to be up on it, and that's it's going to fire him up.
I think if you're within double digits right now, if you're
less than 100 points out of lead, you have a shot.
Yes, which means Steve Torrence and Brittany Force right now are kind of on the edge. They're on the bubble. Torrence is right now at 97 points out. Brittany Force, 91 points out. But if they get a good weekend here in Reading, that puts them right back in it. But they're going to have to go rounds to get themselves back into it and going into Dallas.
I agree 100% with that. And then you've got, the guy that's hungry, Doug Coletta. Doug Coletta's hungry to win. Jimmo, I had a long talk with Jimmo.
All of those
is
guys.
hungry to win the championship. He's been with Doug Coletta when Schumacher swiped it out away from him that year making the run. I mean, he's been there a couple times. Doug Coletta is, I'm trying to think, the best. He's the Iceman. He's calm. We talk to him on the show often. I'm friends with Doug. Doug is he's steady Eddie.
Yep.
Doug is steady Eddie, but he's won USAC championships before. He hasn't been able to grab the NHRA Top Fuel Championship, and this might be his year. I'm pulling for Doug. I got to be, and these other guys are my friends. I'm friends with Aaron.
Sure.
I'm friends with
absolutely
with Steve Torrance, but. I don't know. I don't think if Doug Coletta won, I don't think there'd be a lot of sad faces in the pits. I really don't.
No, I don't think so. And you're a pilot, so is Doug Coletta. That calmness that you have to have. I mean, if it's one thing to go 330 miles an hour down a racetrack in a quarter mile, but when you get up there and you're flying around, there are situations where you kind of get. Sometimes you're going to get into as a pilot. It's just going to happen where you got to keep your head.
Been watching the movie Sully, right? I went and saw the movie
really?
Sully
Yes,
the other week.
Yeah,
I mean, like that guy, he did what he'd trained hundreds of times to do. That's what he did. You evaluate the situation, you make a decision, and it happens pretty quick. Well, in a top fuel car, it just happens a whole lot quicker. Yeah. You don't have even, in an airplane, you go through your mental checklist, and then you go through the book checklist. In an airplane, in a top fuel dragster, you just go through what feels right to do, and you just do it. I mean, and Doug Coletta, I have not flown in a plane with Doug Coletta, but I pretty much guarantee he's a very good pilot.
Yeah, and those attributes make him good at doing what he does in an airplane.
Well, he's got a procedure. I guarantee you, before Doug Coletta gets in that car every time, he goes through his procedure, his internal checklist, and that's why Doug's been good for a long time. I raced Doug. The first race that he ran at was Pomona Winter Nationals in 1998. I raced Doug first round, and I beat him, but I figured, okay, well, he's going to be really good. It's just a matter of time. And I'd watch Doug race at midget races and stuff over the years. We used to race at IRP and then go over at night and watch the midgets race at the little circle track over there. So I'd seen Doug race for years, and Doug's dad, Doug Sr., and Doug's uncle, Connie. I mean, they're a racing family.
Yeah, and right now within striking distance, 13 points behind Antron Brown. Taking a look at the Pro Stock points, and if you're not with KB Racing right now, I don't think you have much of a shot at the championship, because this has come down to a three-way battle. Right now, Bo Butner, at any point, and he's due, and he's on the verge, if he went up to Maple Grove this weekend and won the whole thing, boy, that puts him right there with Greg and Jason.
After this weekend, there's only going to be 3 races left. So if you're more than 100 points after this weekend, you're pretty much done, and it might even be a little bit less than that, depending upon what happens at the top.
Yep, because anybody else, right now, 4th place, Vincent Nobile, 125 out. I just don't see that happening, especially with the way the KB guys are performing.
Well, you got to figure that's 6 rounds. With 4 races left, that's 6 rounds. So you're going to go 6 rounds more than Greg Anderson and Jason Line at the last 4 races?
Don't think
doubtful.
so.
It could happen, but it's
sure.
Mathematically it's possible, but realistically, they're probably not going to go a couple races and go out first round.
Yep.
So you're not going to have an opportunity to gain 5 rounds on them.
That's exactly right, because the competition is so tough at the top. Then at Pro Stock Motorcycle, holy moly. Andrew Hines right now has a 2-point lead over Angèle Sampé, and she's right at this minute sitting there still kicking herself for going red in the final against Jerry Savoie.
Yeah. Jerry would be the first one to tell you. Angèle had a better bike.
Yeah.
All she's got to do is leave on time. Jerry got the trophy, and that's all there is to it. But, yeah, you're right. Angèle is very competitive. I guarantee she's kicking herself right now. But I don't know what's going to happen over there at Star Racing. I mean, Angèle has already announced that at the end of the year she's leaving the team to do something else.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there? I think the roots are pretty deep with George Bryce and them. I don't George wants to win the championship, and I'm sure winning with Angèle will be satisfying and good. But at the same time, she's leaving at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a little bit torn. I'm sure Angèle's going to do 100% her job.
Yeah, absolutely.
She wants to win
because she wants to. She would love. I don't think there would be any better story than Angèle Sampé comes back to the sport, wins a championship, and rides off into the sunset. She'll still be a part of the sport. She'll still be involved, but she just probably won't be riding or driving at that point. And
she likes it. She's competitive and she likes it. So I wouldn't be surprised the right opportunity pops up even at some future point. But she wants to win too. If she's not going to go out there and ride some bike that goes down the track,
right? And it may be next year with Why Not Racing, with the Whiteleys and Corey Reed. And she said, depending on sponsorship and if they can get the right deal in place, that they would do that. But we're talking now about 5 drivers within that magic double-digit point standings. Chip Ellis right now 17 points back, and he may have the best bike on the property right now. And so that's going to be.
You know what? Those Harleys always seem like they have a little bit extra they can pull out when they get their back against the wall. That's like, Hines, Vance and Hines' team is like John Force Racing.
Yeah.
You get them backed into the corner, and those guys work awful hard.
Yeah,
it's like
they
KB
really do.
Racing guys.
Yep.
They work awful hard, and they've got a lot of people that are
Lots of
behind that
resources.
operation.
Yep. No question.
That are very, very good.
Yep. And then in funny cars, this may be the category of the year like it was last year. It just come down to a haymaker throwing slugfest. Ron Capps right now on top of everything, but boy, you go down to Matt Hagan at 6. And I mean, you could pull any of those top 6 out of a hat right now and go, yeah, I have no problem with that guy winning a championship. Right. Jack Beckman, with that win, really puts him in a big spot. And we'll ask him in just a couple of minutes about that crucial second-round matchup with John Force, because at that point, there's 40 points. There's 40 points on the line right there, and not to mention a Wally. But I
so
think
to explain to
points.
fans, there's 20 points for winning a round. But
Correct.
if you're racing the guy that you need to pass in points, then it's a 40-point swing.
Yeah.
You get 20, they don't get 20. It's a big deal. So Beckman pulled it off.
Yep, and we'll, as a matter of fact, we have Jack on the line, and we will talk to the winner at Gateway Motorsports Park. Jack Beckman joins us next.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More coming up right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
From work life to nightlife, from home to the road, your day can take you anywhere. These fast-paced times call for Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Advanced Comfort is designed to keep up with you, no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. Wrangler Advanced Comfort. Go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable. Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Try on a pair today.
O'Reilly. A dead battery can leave you stranded, so get yours tested for free during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Need a replacement? Purchase a Superstart Extreme or Superstart Platinum battery and get up to $25 in O'Reilly gift cards after a mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now here's Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for joining us on The Straight Line this afternoon. And joining us right now on the telephone line is the winner at Gateway Motorsports Park in the funny car division. He is the driver of the Infinite Hero Dodge for Don Schumacher Racing. Jack Beckman joins us. Jack, congratulations. Big win for you guys.
Well, I know talking to you guys, we had to have done something pretty cool, right?
Yeah, right?
Well, Jack, that was a crucial win. I mean, now you put yourself in a position to, do what happened in 2012. You can see that movie again here. Is kind of, you're setting the stage, dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, NHRA called me for a teleconference, and one of the questions they asked before St. Louis was, how critical is St. Louis in terms of winning the championship? And I don't know. We'll know in Pomona. Nobody has a crystal ball. I mean, I don't think the Napa car is going to fail Tech at the rest of the races. I don't think John Force is going to withdraw his team for the rest of the year. So I'm pretty sure all the cars that have been tough are going to stay tough. I know all the Schumacher cars will be. And I told him, I said, I think that if we don't make the final round, our chances of a championship are pretty slim. And I hope that turns out to be prophetic. We were able to get the win and get ourselves very much back into the points deal. But, we still got a ways to go to catch the top two cars, which also happen to be Schumacher cars.
Jack, just before we went to break, we've talked about that crucial second-round matchup with John Force, a 40-point swing right there, and then you keep adding those 20 points on through the win and taking the ones that potentially Force could win. I mean, that was a monster matchup. Just talk about what the mindset was going into that round.
Well, let me frame it with even more of the facts that were going on. Yes, we qualified second, but our 390 in qualifying was the only time we went down the racetrack. Yeah. We smoked the tires our other three qualifying runs. So it wasn't a heavy level of confidence like we had at this time last year, where what we told the car to do more often than not was what it did. We've had a clutch disc issue and kind of painted ourselves into a corner with predictability. And if the car is not predictable, you can't make it consistent. And if you can't make it consistent, you can't make it quick. Well, then first round we go out there, it shot out a spark plug at 100 foot, and we barely got by the number 15 qualifier, Dale Creasy, who happened to run his career best ET. And that's the thing about Nitro Funny Car. It's so unpredictable. We could have been done first round. So we were a 10th behind Force going into second round. In fact, except for first round, we never had lane choice on Sunday. So if we lost to John second round, Napa gains a minimum of another round on us, and the deal's over for the championship. So to get by John and to do it on a hole shot was doubly gratifying. You know, that car won us a lot of races. It's nice as a driver to be able to do your job in the cockpit and know that you made a difference in winning that round. So then we get by Force. Now we got to do it all over again against Napa. And that again becomes a 40-point round because that car is the points leader. And frankly, we went into the event in 8th place. We don't care about second place. All we care about is first place. So if I look at our points right now, I have to compare us to the Napa team. They are leading the points deal. So if we lose to Napa, we go another round behind them, and they have the opportunity to go on and win the race. So beating Force gave us that round win, the opportunity to face Napa and get that round win, which gave us the opportunity to face the Make-A-Wish car and that round win. So it really was 60 points for us and 20 points that those other two teams, Force and Napa, didn't get. It really turned out to be an 80-point round.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, besides you, Jack, pulling your job off on the starting line, the guys you have on your team, I got to tell you, there are three guys that I really like between Jimmy Prock, John Medlin, and Chris Cunningham. You got like an all-star bench, and any one of those guys, they can all run cars on their own, and then three of them working together. That's not to mention all the other DSR stuff.
I enjoyed listening to the interaction because it's not a oligarchy there. It's not Jimmy Prock saying, do this. There is a lot of discussion. And there are three absolute experts. And like you say, any of the three of them could absolutely be a crew chief on any nitro car out there. And to have them all in the same room, it's pretty humbling experience. The only time that the IQ goes down in that crew chief lounge is when I walk in, and then it drops about 20 points for an average. But, to listen to how they analyze things, and it's a very different way that they go about things. Jimmy Prock is, a lot of people think that he's a bull in a china shop. He just has a sixth sense about nitro cars, and Jimmy completely understands that making a change, say to a clutch timer or to a lockup weight on the clutch, that one change affects multiple things on the car, and you have to make the corresponding changes. So he often gets critiqued for making multiple changes just because he's that smart. John Medlin's a machinist by trade, and he takes such a precise look at everything, and he's an engineer, so he's very, very analytical. And Chris Cunningham's a little bit in the middle, and just to hear the banter between the three of them, it gives you a lot of confidence going up for the next round.
Yeah. I guarantee you that.
Jack, let's take a look ahead to Reading coming up. The forecast is shaky, and me and Doug were talking about it during the break. If there's a drought condition in eastern Pennsylvania, what you need to do is schedule a race at Maple Grove, and it'll start raining. No matter where you get it, on the schedule, it looks like there's going to be rain, and there's a possibility of that. But there's also the possibility of very cool conditions. So it seems to me that you're going to have to get the most out of every qualifying session because you're not guaranteed all 4.
Yeah, that's the dichotomy of Reading. Doug, you'd know quite a few things about rain delays
Yeah,
and
you think?
Wally's in Reading, right?
Oh, boy.
Situation. Yeah, and it's funny because you can get so spun up about the weather, and the fans say, what are we going to do if it rains? And this is one race where my father's from Maryland, and I have so many relatives that come out to this race, more than even at Pomona, which is my home race.
Right.
Really?
And I'm setting up tickets, and you can tend to worry about stuff that you really have no control over. So, yeah, I just looked out the hotel room's window this morning and thought, okay, more drizzle. It poured last night. I'm driving up to the hotel at 1:30 in the morning. And the whole reason that they moved Reading before Dallas was to try to avoid this very thing.
Right.
Last year we got one qualifying run. It was a complete crapshoot going into eliminations. We smoked the tires first round. Fortunately, so did Alexis, and I was able to win a pedaling contest. And then we went on and actually won the race and set the ET record last year here. So it ended up perfect for us. But for the fans, you don't want to have a one qualifying run weekend. You want to have an opportunity to go out there and put on a show on Friday and on Saturday for them. And you're right, you can throw out the fact that we've just got away from running at hot, nasty racetracks. Every time you come to Reading, it's like a clean sheet. And all of a sudden, there's that opportunity to go for the national record. Now, the one thing that's off the table this year, and something I just don't understand why NHRA did, is they took away points for the ET record, a thing that's decided championships 3 times in the last 10 years, and it's not even an option anymore.
Right.
Now a national record is worth the sheet of paper that it's printed on when they send you the certificate. So that's okay. We still need to go after the qualifying bonus points each session, and that's where you hope that there are 4 sessions so you can go out there and flex your muscles and try to get some of those points.
Jack, one thing I'd like to talk about, the Infinite Hero Foundation and what Terry Chandler does with your car and what you do, carrying the coins down the track, raising money for the heroes, for the veterans, which you are one of also. Tell us a little bit about the program so the listeners can learn and find out where they go to get one of those coins that have went down the track with you.
Yeah, Terry's birthday was Tuesday, and after the semifinals, we knew she couldn't lose. With both of her cars, the Make-A-Wish car and the Infinite Hero car, in the final round, she was going to get a trophy no matter what. And that lady funds every penny of every run our cars make. The charities, Make-A-Wish and Infinite Hero, are given those cars as marketing platforms to raise money to change lives, whether it's for kids with serious illnesses or injured veterans. And the cool thing is Friday, I started the weekend before we made any qualifying runs speaking to a large group of Vietnam veterans that were out there just enjoying a day around each other and reminiscing. It was one of their reunions, and they did it at the racetrack. And then Sunday, we're standing in the winner's circle. And every run, I carry 20 of these military-style challenge coins with me in the car. And every time a fan comes up and wants to help an injured vet, for a $100 donation, I'll personally sign one of the coins out of the car and hand it to him. So to give you a frame for this, last year our team raised a lot of funds to change lives. And just in this coin program, we did $170,000. I did 1,700 coins during the course of 2015, and every one of those, every penny of that $100 goes into our grant cycle. Infinite Hero has a bunch of volunteers that work on the grant committee to steer that funding where it can best be used to affect the most amount of injured veterans and help them get back to whatever their new normal is going to be. These are folks that went to war and unfortunately came back damaged in some form. And really, at the end of the day, they just want to get back to living their lives. And Infinite Hero's given them the best opportunity to do that, and we're helping in a small part.
And one of the cool things is that Alan Reinhart at every national event and just about every run that you make mentions that to the crowd wherever they are on the PA, and also making the announcement of Make-A-Wish. Hey, Make-A-Wish does not sponsor a car. And then tells a story about Terry Chandler and also about Infinite Hero. So that's that's got to be comforting for you to know that people are aware of this. When you go down to the racetrack and there are people coming up to you, that there's a lot of people involved to make this all work.
Yeah, I mean, people's first perception can be that, wait a minute, I don't want my funds going to sponsor a race car, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
I want my funds going to help a child get their wish granted for the expenses of airfare, hotel, and for them and their family, or I want my funds going to help out a soldier that was paralyzed or burned or has traumatic brain injury. So I appreciate that Alan offers that clarification, that those cars are completely funded by one woman with a huge heart.
Yeah.
And not only does she help change the lives of the injured vets or the kids with serious illnesses, but 21 of us have jobs because of her.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the enormity of what she's done through her philanthropy, she's just an amazing human being. And it's nice at the end of the day to give her an even bigger award, and that wouldn't be true. The reward is the changing the lives. To stand with her at the end of the day with a trophy and give her another award.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, Jack, I got to tell you, too, one thing that you've always done for me is help Breaks not only coming to our gala, coming to my pancake breakfast, but coming to the schools, coming to the classes at Pomona and other places, talking to the kids. I can't tell you how much that means to me. Thank you so much for what you do. You're an asset to the NHRA. You're an asset to Don Schumacher Racing, and I'm proud that you're my friend.
Well, and ditto, Doug, and you know how I feel about you. And a lot of times when you're the one spearheading a program like Terry is with the race cars, you really don't want to take the credit, and you're overly humble. And the deal with Breaks is you're changing lives. You're saving lives. You're ensuring there's a couple young adults that have come home to their families that otherwise wouldn't have if they hadn't attended your school. I'm a huge supporter because I'm a big believer in what you guys do, a very comprehensive driving program. And you're not only making those students better drivers, their parents have to come with them.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see how much the parents learn. They've been out of driver training for 30 years, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, I'm doing things wrong. We're making better drivers out of them. So changing lives, that's a big deal.
Jack, thank you so much. Jack Beckman, the winner last weekend in St. Louis, racing this weekend up there in Reading, which he knows how to win there too. So, Jack Beckman, good luck this weekend, buddy.
Best to both of you guys. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Marty.
Thanks. Driver of the Infinite Hero Dodge, Jack Beckman, and winner at Gateway this weekend. More of the Straight Line coming up.
This is the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll have more for you right after this.
A dead battery can leave you stranded, so get yours tested for free during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Need a replacement? Purchase a Superstart Extreme or Superstart Platinum battery and get up to $25 in O'Reilly gift cards after a mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
From work life to nightlife, from home to the road, your day can take you anywhere. These fast-paced times call for Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Advanced Comfort is designed to keep up with you, no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. Wrangler Advanced Comfort. Go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable. Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Try on a pair today.
MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and again at 12:30 p.m. Steve Post and Ashley Strimmy give you a full half hour of sprint car news and interviews with the biggest names from the world of outlaws, ASCS, All-Star Circuit of Champions, Pennsylvania, Knoxville, the West Coast, and all dirt tracks in between. MRN's Winged Nation on MAV TV, presented by Sage Fruit, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Eastern on MAV TV. Welcome back to the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to Jack Beckman for joining us on the Straight Line. Hey, the Rapisarda guys in Top Fuel have been very good. Went all the way to the semifinals here at Charlotte, and then at Gateway gave Leah Pritchett everything that she wanted during the first round. Now they're coming with another weapon. They got Larry Dixon behind the wheel. Good for Larry. He's going to be back behind the wheel of Top Fuel Car this weekend.
Yeah, Larry's been ready to jump behind the wheel, so having the chance to go up there. And Broussard's got top-notch equipment. I'm not sure, I know Lee Beard comes in there and helps him from time to time, which I wouldn't be surprised if Lee's over there helping, but I know he's over at Cruz's helping. He's kind of a little bit of a journeyman, Top Fuel consultant, I guess would be the best thing. But, yeah, happy to see Larry Dixon in there this weekend, and you know what? They can go some rounds for sure.
No doubt, they proved it. They went all the way to the semifinals and didn't do it by accident. I mean, they were out there and making really good runs. Now you put a guy with a lot of experience and like 63 Wallies, I think, in a couple of championships, three championships. Man, that just puts another monkey or puts another wrench into the whole deal of Top Fuel. Wanted to, as we mentioned with Jack, weather's going to be an issue, so every run in qualifying is really going to be important because you just don't know how many rounds you're going to get of qualifying.
Right, and I don't think there's a big tuning problem with that because all the guys know how to tune their cars for whatever conditions there is, but they are going to be particularly careful because they want to go down the track. You go up there and make a couple runs, you got to make sure you go down the track and get that qualifying position. That's important. So look for the guys to get down the track, and then in eliminations, it's the bet's off. I mean, you got to haul it.
It absolutely. It's gonna be wet, but it's gonna be cool, and there's going to be some monster runs this week, and can't wait to talk about it.
What about
next
the shredder?
week.
We didn't talk about the shredder.
I think we're done with that. For everybody involved, we'll talk to you next week on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Tune in again next Thursday at noon Eastern on MotorRacingNetwork.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and is brought to you by Hercules Tires. This program is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or you can download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.